Bino and Michi, or Homixide Gang, are the most controversial member of Carti's label Opium. They're a pretty big group, though there's a little problem, just a teeny tiny issue with Bino. Bino's a freak I say, allegedly. Here's the issue with being a pedophile. It's bad. I know, legendary opinion from Judah the Zealous one, but seriously, having it known or at least widely thought that you're in your mid-20s and texting minors for sexual reasons might be bad reputation-wise. It also makes the music feel worse to listen to because you're listening to a pedophile. Every time I hear Bino, I'm like, damn, this shit is hard. Oh wait, he's allegedly a freak and he likes kids.
Now, I do want to say that regarding that clip, we did end up finding out that this girl was around 16 years old at the time because her boyfriend ended up coming out and exposing that Bino was trying to slide on his girl, which is crazy. You trying to take a nigga girlfriend and he in high school, bro. You a whole grown man. You didn't.
He DM'd her, where you from? So then she says, yo, I was 16. He kept asking for my number and this and that. And you know what's crazy is she says I didn't have a working number. In other words, her parents did not give her a phone number because she was so young.
Bro, this cannot be true. Homixide Bino from Homixide Gang, also signed to Carti's Opium label, is being accused of bringing an underage girl backstage, bro.
At the end of the day, we don't have a video of Bino openly talking about his love for minors, so you can decide to believe the allegations against him or not for whatever reasons you have. And for me, I'm still going to listen to Homixide Gang, but shockingly, this is kind of a big barrier to entry when trying to enjoy their music. Aside from the pedophilia allegations directed at Bino, how about the music? Opium overall makes amazing music, but Homixide makes the worst out of all the notable members of Carti's label. And they're the smallest out of Ken, Lone, and obviously Carti. The music is alright with masterpieces like Lifestyle, B5, TNT, Uzi Work, Stepdaddy, 5 Vunna, Rockstar Bitch, and Dive In, but they're just not comparable to Ken Carson, Lone, or Carti, with overall alright albums like Snotterknot and Homixide Lifestyle. Again, I'm not calling them bad, but what I am saying is that they don't add much to Opium's overall sound and style, and this is made worse because each and every member has their own thing and style while feeling like part of the sound. To showcase what each member adds, I want to use their most recent album as examples. First, Ken Carson, as shown in his most recent album, Great Chaos. He has an incredible, unique flow and chaotic yet cohesive, awesome hard beats. Destroy Lonely has a chill, evil, dark vibe as shown by his If Looks to Kill album, not to mention his amazing lyrics. And Playboi Carti has a whole lot of red, which not only inspired Ken, Lone, and Homixide Gang's entire style, but it has its own sick, dark atmosphere with simple, repetitive beats and flows. These three artists have things that are specific to them, things that make it clear as to why they should be in Opium, yet this isn't the case with Homixide Gang. While I would call none of their music bad, it doesn't stand out, and because of this, their place in Opium should be put into question. Well, that'd be what I would say if Homixide Gang didn't drop I5, U5, We5. I5, U5, We5 is my favorite Opium project. Hold on! Come on, boys, guns down, okay? Let me explain. I understand that at least on Rate Your Music, an album of the year, it has a very mixed reception, but this album is incredibly important in the duo's musical development as they try a lot of new things and get a Yachty feature. The little Yachty feature on Side Effect was already massive for reasons that I don't need to explain, but the entire sound of this album is exactly what Homixide Gang needed in order for their place in Opium to be slightly less questionable. There's a reason why I say this is Opium's best album in my opinion, and of course, Homixide Gang's best on top. Instead of a sound that's mostly rage and clearly Opium, this album is undeniably Opium in its sound due to its darker, harder, and more consistent beats, which is far more growth than every one of their other albums previously. I5's length is also only 34 minutes, which I feel is perfect for an album like this, as some of these albums like Whole Lotta Red and Looks to Kill are only brought down a little bit by their length with nothing to do with the sound quality. Speaking of song quality, in I5, Homixide Gang tries a lot in this 14-song, 34-minute album. Figure 5 is incredibly smooth with its flow and beat, so is Tables and Ladder 5, and one of my favorite tracks, Faye Buster. It also has sick, faster-paced, harder beats like R50 with its flow and metal guitars. One of the best things about this album too is the use of guitars in songs like R50, Faye Buster, and Deathlock. They also clearly improved their ability to use guitars in songs, as every time they use them in this album, it's way harder than any other song they've done with guitars previously. The beats or instrumentals of Homixide Gang have always been their main strong suit, as opposed to their flows or lyrics, especially in past albums like Snotterknot and Homixide Lifestyle, with extreme standout songs like TNT and Homixide Language from Snotterknot, B5 from Fifth Amendment, and Stepdaddy from Snotty World. And it's no different with I5. Beat-wise, I think that's the best Opium project by a long shot, though the lyrics overall could be better. R50's hands up, got it stuck, me and my niggas don't give a fuck, and that whole line doesn't necessarily detract from the song, but I feel like for this incredible beat, it isn't hard enough. same as the entire chorus to 00 Mega.
This song is still hard as fuck though.
This is definitely the department that Homixide Gang could have worked on more with the album, but aside from that, this thing's just perfect. The one thing I feel they worked on a noticeable amount with this project is their flows, specifically on songs like Figure 5, my favorite on the album, Swanton Bomb, Version 5, SRT, and Deathlock. These flows are so clean and unique in comparison to anything else in Opium that in my opinion it even beats out Ken Carson's impeccable, previously unmatched flow throughout the entirety of A Great Chaos. A point that I think is major about Homixide Gang in this album is that it actually dropped when they said it would. Unlike other Opium members, especially Carti, they didn't lie about when they dropped this and nothing was mysterious. Plus, they consistently dropped real songs that were on the album as singles, which should be expected from artists, but for Opium this is pretty surprising and different as it shows that Homixide Gang is definite about their word and when they'd release new music. But a real big question everyone has about this album specifically is if it changes Bino's definite attraction. Even though this is my favorite Opium album, not everyone feels like I did, or at least most people who reviewed it on Rate Your Music, the site I use to check musical opinions on different singles and albums. Follow me, by the way, if you haven't. I review albums all the time. Anyway, I think that this album is a great show of the fact that Bino and Michi can make something amazing when they really focus. But this is the only album that actually showcases that fact. Everything else they made was just alright, and again, this doesn't change the fact that Bino has allegedly done some strange shit before him and Michi dropped this insane fire. For a while, I didn't even give Homixide Gang a chance, naturally, because one of the members is allegedly a little freak, and most people won't because not supporting an alleged predator is a rational choice, and when people learn that Bino allegedly is a weirdo, it'll be more difficult for people to rock with Homixide Gang because a lot of people don't separate the art from the artist, which is completely fine and understandable. I'm a person who's on the fence about that whole debate, and that's not too important in this video about Homixide Gang's place in Opium. Just overall, even if you dislike the I-5, the fact that this is a major development in Homixide Gang's sound should be noticed and taken into account when it comes to future musical discussion on these guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for music, not only rap, but also other kinds of music and comic videos. Check out my comic, and goodbye.